Hello, Serge here for the Backyard Driving Range. Alright, we got two questions and comments that came in to customer service. I'm reading them both because they're both basically bring up the same question, the same topic. And first one is rather short, second one's a little lengthy, but they both are very good, and they come up and they make some good points and ask some good questions. First one is from Alan. He says, "Hello Don. I am an avid follower of your daily videos and have been using the PPGS for over 2 years. After a serious back injury had prevented me from playing at all. So he found PPGS and he came back, and it sounds like he's able to play because PPGS is the body-friendly swing. He goes on to say, I have improved my game, however, still block most shots right. All right, now I'm assuming if he's blocking them right, he has to be a right-handed golfer, which a block for a left-hander would be a block left. And a block usually implies a relatively straight shot, which means the face of the club has to be pointing at that spot and swinging towards that spot. Which means if he was lined up perfectly well, his face would be swinging from a little inside onto the line, square at impact, and straight out to where the ball goes. So that would be an inside-out swing. Okay. I have used alignment rods and even clubs to assist in alignment. So he's doing that very well. Now, obviously, I think he's talking about on the range, because I don't see most people putting clubs down and alignment rods on a golf course. Which it's okay, you could do that. You could put a line down, you could put one or two down. But once you step up to the ball, you'd have to bend down and throw them away, because you can't leave them there hitting a ball. And you could do that as long as you don't slow up play, but you could do that all day. And as you know, on the LPGA tour, you see a lot of the ladies, very few on the men's tour, but you see a lot of the ladies, they got their caddy stand behind them, and the guy usually says something, and you know, okay, and then he walks away because he can't stay back there while they're hitting. My short game appears to be the better part of how I am playing, yet when I go to any club above a 7-iron, I block to the right. What am I doing wrong? Okay, so I've already kind of hinted a little bit at where we're going on that one. Next letter comes in from Jason Barone, and Jason says, Dear Serge, love watching your dailies and the coaching I received last year at your school in Phoenix has helped me immensely. Hope to see you back here soon. Well, we're hoping to get back there before the end of this year, and if not, we have a full-time certified instructor in Phoenix, Stretch Condor. You can find him on the golf instruction on swingsurgeon.com, and just look up Stretch Condor, and you'll see why he's called Stretch, because he's kind of like, I got to stretch my neck to look up and try to look at him, you know, nose to nose, but my nose is a heck of a lot lower than his. But I got a good look up. Stretch is tall and thin. He says, my question is around the fact that I am losing a number of balls to the right, either via push or slice. So again, we got a right-hander here, especially on longer clubs. I have adamantly been checking alignment, and I use the sticks as a guide, always cognizant that alignment is the key from feet to shoulders, and the number one reason for this typically. I do have a theory on my issue, and I was wondering if you see a lot of this. As a former baseball player, I believe my first move at the top of the backswing is opening my shoulders, which then takes the club on an outside in plane. The reason I think this is true is that I see it in the divots, which are sometimes larger than they should be. Separate issue perhaps. Correct, it's a separate issue. Anyway, I'm curious if you agree with my theory, or perhaps you think there is something else that more commonly drives this other than alignment. Do you have any drills or potential fixes for this? Thanks, really love what you do. Appreciate the help, James Barone. Okay, we see two different things. We see two guys having pulls, pushes, blocks, and as I said, blocks are basically right, and they're both right-handed, so blocks would be left for a lefty. All right? He brings up the theory of baseball, and he brings up the theory of his divot. All right? I have a principle called reading a divot. It's going to be hard for me to explain it here, but all divots should actually be aimed a little bit to the left. All right? Now, the way I'm going to explain this is I'm going to put a line on the ground here, directly at the camera. Someday, I think I might have done a video on this, or maybe did a daily on it, and it's out there. And you might want to check on the search thing up there on where dailies are about reading a divot. Because the club is approaching the ball, we finally get on line. The club is square at impact, and as we're going into the forward mid, it's towing up. The club head is coming. And this is the ground. Okay. As the club is making impact on the line, the toe is coming out of the ground. Is coming out of the ground as it's coming out toe up, going into the mitt. It's coming out sooner. So any good divot should have an appearance of to the left, because as I hit the ball, the club, as I go into the mitt toe up, the diagonalness of the swing plane going up is still now coming directly. The club is coming off the line, inside the line, just as when I go into the catcher's mitt toe up, the club is going straight back and it's coming inside towards my toe line. So we got a little bit inside to on to inside because we're on a diagonal plane. So the divot should always point to the left. But the key is, most golfers, if they just, I'm going to take this to say like this is a big divot, and here it is, it's kind of going to the left. Most golfers just like to lay the club through the center divot and say, oh, look at its left. That's not correct. You have to go back. You have to go back to the very front of the divot. Let's say this is the front of the divot, where it starts, where you can see where the ball was, and the divot starts under where the ball was. Because if you hit the ball first and you get to the divot, you have to go there. So now, what you have to do with that, again, using this as the divot's going to be going this way to the left. Well, where that point was right here, you find that point and you take the outside of that point and you put the club down on that point, which again with this line would be just like this, a straight line right down the middle of that point. All right? And now you're going to see that the divot is going inside this way on it, but where the divot started, where the ball was, and you put that club there, and you stand there and you put that club on the back of that divot like this, and you put it right there, that'll very likely be starting. If you hit a ball at the flag, it'll be starting at the flag. It'll be pointing to the flag. And the divot has to go to the left because of the club towing up into the catcher's mitt, and towing up, it's coming inside at the same time because we're on a diagonal plane. So cover that. So you got to know how to read a divot. If not, it'll blow your mind all day and get you doing and thinking wrong and making wrong assumptions and therefore doing wrong corrections. As far as alignment goes, you do the alignment on this range. Whatever you are here, very likely you're going to be worse out there. If you're lying 10 or 20 yards here, you're going to be 30, 40, 50, or 60 out there. I've seen golfers who were, I had them 50 yards right on the range. I get them on the golf course, they're 100. I had one in Dallas a while back, was 150 yards to the right. All right, every time he walked into the ball, especially with a driver. All right, so it really messes you up. I mean, you got to go look at, you got to buy and go purchase that video, the Ultimate Alignment video. It's got some new points in there that I think nobody in the world knows. I've never heard of anybody else. I figured it out, and it's really good. If you go back and check out that video, most of the folks who have bought it have raved about it, said it's the best work I've ever done. But basically, the alignment's a never-ending problem. But assuming your alignment is correct, a couple points that can really make the ball block to the right or block to the left if you're a lefty is ball position. If you're standing up, all right, and I got a 7-iron, which is supposed to be in the middle of my stance, okay? If I have that ball too far forward for a right-hander, I'm hitting the ball late, too far forward, even with perfect alignment, toes alignment, and I hit that ball late, my body's opened up a little bit more, I'm effectively aimed left, okay? If I get the ball too far back in my stance, this is about center. We use our heels, our ankles for center, all right, to determine the width of the stance of where center is, not the toes, especially not a guy like me, because I open up my left one a lot more than my right one. And even if you were dead straight, you could use your toes there, but because we open up, we always have to use our ankles or our heels. If I get it too far back, I'm effectively going to hit the ball too soon, which means I haven't squared my shoulders up to impact yet. So therefore, too soon will be the block right, or block left if you're a lefty. So ball position with perfect toe alignment, toe, knee, hips, and shoulders. Ball too far forward is effectively aim left. Too far back is effectively aim right with perfect alignment. Okay, so you can't forget that. The other one is a lot of times people decide that I'm going to use this as my toe line and my ball's out. Say my ball's out over here. All right. And if I get back and I turn just a little bit too much in my backswing, I get just a little deep and swing straight down from there, I can hit a dead shot, dead right, even from perfect ball position. All right. Now sometimes when people get a little deep, they can tend to start doing this. They come over the top, and now they're gonna the ball. And if their body moves forward, their ball's effectively back. They can chop on it. If you're hitting drivers like that, that's where you get the sky marks on top. So that can take you outside in. or just or if you move if you came from inside and you come this way and you still move forward, you're still hitting a little bit early, it can go right. It can go either way at that point. So it could be swing issues, it could be path issues, and it could be ball position issues with perfect alignment causing some of these other problems. But in most cases, it still comes down to that when you use sticks on a tee, on a practice range, and I've seen people walk in with foot sticks, and they walking in, and even on a lesson, and I got them checking out their toe line, they walk in, and one foot is about one club away from the grip, because you can't, on a range, you can't put your back foot up against the stick, because it's going to move the stick. So you have to have it far enough away where when you fire and you stand up, it's not going to hit it. I've seen them walk in there, and they start to swing, and I say, hey, stop, and they stop, and I'll be here like this, and I'll say, look at this club, there's one club there, and look at this. It's a club and a half. It's over a club and a half farther away. And I said, they don't even look at this. They don't even look at their toes when they got the sticks on the ground. And so, if you're not checking out your toes even with sticks, then you're going to get a failure grade there, right? And so, alignment's still critical, but check out your ball position and check out your path, because that can make a difference too. All right. Well, on talking about pushes and blocks, that's it for the Surge for today, and I'll be talking with you all again soon.